Okay, hi, this is a process video on writing an expository paragraph. So what we're going to do in this video is go over the three basic steps to creating an expository paragraph for anything that's informational writing. You'll see that we'll have three steps, and each step will have a first and then the next. So we'll do first, next step, first, next step, and then the last step, first, next, then the end. So an expository paragraph can explain, clarify, illustrate, or explicate. And so you can write this for an analysis of a text, a short story or poem or whatever. And you can also write an expository essay or paragraph over a research item topic such as the civil rights or Rosa Parks, even more specifically. And that's what we're really going to look at now, just the body paragraphs, not an introduction, not a conclusion, but something that explains a certain topic. And you are going to need two things for this. You're going to need a topic. Your teacher may or may not have provided that for you, or at least guided you in the right direction. You're going to need a research question. Hopefully you're at the point where you can come up with your own research questions. That's really a research question guides you in the right direction on what you're answering, what you're writing about. You also need to do some research and have evidence. That may be an article online, it may be a book or whatever. It also may be quotes from the book or the poem or the short story that you are reading. Evidence can incorporate a lot of things, and we'll talk about that later. So first step is to have your research question, and then what you're going to do is you're going to answer that research question. That answer should be very concise. It should be one sentence. It should very, very directly answer your research question. And your research question, if it's a research paper about Rosa Parks, may be something like, what was Rosa Parks' childhood like? If it's for an analysis essay, it might be, what is one reason that supports my thesis? And we're not going to go over thesis statements now, but you should already have one. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take that one sentence, that very concise answer to your research question, and you're going to make that your topic sentence. Topic sentences, just as a quick review, are the sentences that express the main idea of your paragraphs. And when you write that topic sentence, you want to make sure that that paragraph is talking about nothing else. You stay focused, stay on topic. If you really feel a burning urge to write about something else, then you write a new paragraph. Again, topic sentence is something that expresses the main idea of your paragraph. Keep your topic sentence first. Then what you're going to do is you're going to key in on that relevant evidence that you need to support your topic sentence. A lot of students, when they hear that they need evidence for their paragraphs, they will sometimes open up their book, close their eyes, and randomly point to a page, and whatever sentence their finger lands on, well, that's their evidence. But you can't do that. Well, you can do that, but let me just tell you, you shouldn't do that. And your essay is going to be a lot stronger if you're bothering to find evidence that's related to your topic sentence. So for example, if your topic sentence is saying that Edgar Allan Poe establishes a cheerless mood at the beginning of the poem The Raven, you probably want to find something that, a direct quotation that establishes a cheerless mood. Once upon a midnight dreary, for example. That's pretty cheerless if you ask me. It doesn't have to be a direct quotation as evidence. You could also have details, you could have examples or extended definitions depending on the type of writing that you are doing and depending on what you think your reader does or does not already know. So those are the types of evidence that you should be looking for, and be prepared as you're writing your essay and including multiple paragraphs and multiple types of evidence that you're switching it up. Don't just throw a bunch of direct quotations at your reader or just a bunch of details. You've got to include a variety of types of evidence. That's really important. use those transitions and use those citations. Your transition devices, you have a toolbox of them. Go on and find them. For example, is a great transition device. For example, and your MLA or APA citations also should be included whenever you're using evidence. So be sure to give credit where credit is due with those citations. And yeah, I'm not sure if it's driving you crazy. That quotation mark is not closed, and I promise you that will be fixed within another couple of slides with some iMovie magic. All right, so moving on. Third step, we're on the third step already, is that you explain how your evidence supports the topic sentence. Don't just dump your evidence in and tell your reader to figure it out for themselves. You've really got to explain why that evidence is important to what you're doing. A lot of students don't like to do that, and it's really unfortunate because you go through the process of finding relevant evidence, but then you just kind of fall short. Why does it matter? You've got to do some of the thinking for your reader. And so a transition device, again, for beginning writers is to say something like, this is important because, and then finish that sentence. Tell me why that evidence is important to your topic sentence. Super important. And then you're going to transition to the next piece of evidence and rinse and repeat. If you're including multiple pieces of evidence in a well-developed paragraph, hint, hint, you should actually do that, then move on and talk about that evidence and rinse, and like I said, rinse, repeat, and do it all over again. If you're at the final stages of your paragraph, then you want to transition to the next idea, to the next paragraph. It's good to have what we call cohesion. And transitions are super important. So you could say something like, despite having established a cheerless mood in the beginning of the poem, the narrator also experiences moments of lightheartedness. And then in your next paragraph, that's something you may explore. And so what I have here is really not artistic at all, but it's kind of a color representation of what a paragraph looks like. That top is the topic sentence, that's the blue, and then you've got your evidence, but then also, and your own thinking is equally important, so that why it matters is just as important as your evidence. No English teacher is going to be impressed if you have a lot of evidence in your paragraph, but you don't actually provide your own thinking. Believe it or not, we want to hear about what you're thinking as well. So the why it matters, the analysis of that evidence is very important. And alrighty then, that is the three-step process of writing an expository paragraph. The body paragraphs of a research paper or an analysis paper, or even standalone paragraphs that perhaps answer a question your English teacher, or any teacher really, have asked you. Again, these aren't focusing on the specific skills. I have not really provided you with a good toolbox of transitions in this video, and there's nothing on how to actually use those in-text citations, but this is just the overall process of what you need and then what you need to do. I hope this helped, and that's the end of this little process, so I will see you next time.